is there, right? You have Derrick Henry, right? You have Lamar. So like there Zay Flowers is arguably what, the third or fourth option in the red zone on his team. Is that fair to say? I
Mhm.
mean, behind
Yeah, I'd
Lamar,
say.
behind Andrew, I mean behind Henry, and then he's probably still behind Andrews. I know everybody thinks Andrews is just vanishing out of thin air this year, and he's because I think the bad taste in our mouths of how he started the season, but then also like the playoff game where he dropped the pass, and there's been hype around Isaiah Likely. I think Mark Andrews is still going to be the number one tight end on this team. I mean, am I crazy to think that, or
No, I would say Mark Andrews over likely easily, in my opinion.
yeah,
But I mean, you mentioned is he number three in the red zone? Probably. I mean, he had 11 touchdowns last year, so pretty solid outing from him.
yeah,
And a lot of that is going to come in the red zone. It's not like he's making plays down the field. He certainly can, but I just think that there's a world where four is just a little low, and he could have more than that. So,
yeah?
maybe I'm crazy. Who knows?
No, there is a world with that, and I'll let you take your pick here, but let's dive into the Mark Likely and Mark Andrews and Likely conversation, right? I mean, Mark Andrews is 29 years old. Like at the tight end position, that's still pretty young. I mean, this is a guy who, look, Likely and him are both going to be free agents next year. There is a world where Isaiah Likely is getting a very large contract and he walks and they keep Andrews. There is a possibility that that happens too. And that might be good for Likely from a dynasty standpoint because honestly, getting out of this offense, that might be the best thing for him because I don't think this offense really fits him. He's not a good blocking tight end, really. Can he do it occasionally? Sure, but that's not his thing. And this is an offense that loves to run the football, right? That's why Mark Andrews is out there a lot because he can block. And that's my concern you know, with Likely and when we look at Mark Andrews, right? Look at his season last year. Very slow start. I get it. I mean the dude had two games in a row, week 3, week 4, we had 0 points, right? And then 3 points in the opener and Likely had a big game against KC and then week 2 we had 9 points, right? So we had a total of 12 fantasy points in 4 weeks to start the year, but then he goes off and gets 9.5, 15, 20, 14, a down week with 4, then 18, a down week with 4 again. And then he goes on a tear to end the season, 15 points, 18 points, 10 points, 14, 15, and 15, right? And then obviously you get to the playoffs, which is actually in here for Pro Football Focus's stats. So like, I mean, he was a tight end 7 in points per game last year and tight end 6 on the year. I think we forget that. And I'm not falling into this Isaiah Likely trap again where people kept trying to tell me that he was going to take over the role. I got news for you.
Yeah.
Mark
No.
Andrews would not be there anymore if they didn't want him. Like they could get something very solid in terms of draft capital for Mark Andrews, at least a third for him. At least. Am I crazy?
No, not at all. I mean, last year likely was a product of everyone chasing the week one points. It was
Yes.
a massive outing. No way around that. 12 targets, 9 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. He made plays all over the place. If I'm not mistaken, didn't he have a touchdown call back too? I
Yeah,
mean, I
it
could be
was.
wrong.
That's how
I
they
don't
ended up.
remember.
Kansas City won because his toe was like kind of on the line. It looked like, but it couldn't get overturned because it was the call. It was the whole thing.
Yeah, exactly. So when you see that matchup, everyone their eyes got big and they were all over it, and then he pretty much burned you the rest of the year.
So
So
bad.
if you wasted 100% of your fab, or if you decided to drop Andrews and pick him up, it did not work out. I mean, he had 42 catches for 477 yards. Yes, he had 6 touchdowns, but likely is the number two. He's very athletic. He's a good player, but this is Andrews' job. It's his job to lose.
I agree. I mean, and people, truthfully, there was a lot of talk in the offseason, that Likely was going to likely take that job last year, right? I think it was because Andrews kind of coming off of that injury. I don't think he was. I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was 2023. He had the tightrope, right? And but I
Mhm.
think that's also part of the reason you could expect Andrews to have a really good season this year. These guys that have this tightrope injury, they usually take a year to come. I'm not a doctor, but that's what it usually seems like. It seems like it's about a year until they come back and they're the same person, right? So